friends, and welcome back to Beyond the Screen, the Family Connection podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Samantha Hayes, educator, parent, and founder of Beyond the Screen Families. Have you ever felt like your family is busy, but not really connected? I mean, we have Thanksgiving break coming up this week, and so maybe this is your time to connect. And maybe you're just like, it's way too chaotic. So this episode is for you, okay? Today we're talking about 5 simple connection rituals. If you haven't noticed, we've had a lot of connection talk in November. I don't know why, but it just feels like that's the right time to do it. With this month of gratitude and reflection, it's also about connection. So, we're going to give you short, easy, and completely doable ways to build daily touch points that help your family feel closer, calmer, and more in sync so you don't have to wait for the Thanksgivings or the holiday breaks or the long weekends to make those connection moments. These are not Pinterest perfect activities. You know, I'm not about that. Goodness gracious, I cannot even make that happen in my own world. They're realistic, simple, and repeatable, which is what actually makes them the most powerful. So let's dive in. Connection rituals are small, repeated moments that tell our brains we belong, we matter. They're more than just fun activities. They literally change the way your family interacts. And I want you to think about that for a moment. If you could do something small that could change the way your family interacts together, would you do it? Here's what science says, because I also love when science backs things up. I am someone who is a researcher by nature. I love to go find the why. And so I also want to know when there is like something meaty behind what I'm going to say to you. Rituals release oxytocin, they reduce cortisol, and they help kids feel secure. When kids know they have predictable moments with you, their brains actually relax. Yes, you have that impact on your children. They cooperate more, they argue less, and they even show greater resilience. What parent doesn't really want all of those things, right? Let me give you an example. You might want to try a gratitude jar, and we'll talk about that a little later. It's a jar where you're able to place your gratitude pieces and then you can read them. Maybe you notice that the dog keeps coming up in the gratitude jar, and then the dog becomes, and this laughing and connecting over the silly thing can become part of your ritual. Every small moment repeated consistently can create big connection over time. If you watched last week's episode, we talked all about the micro moments, and this episode is just a continuation of that. Taking those micro moments, as Claire said, walking backward to brush your teeth becomes a ritual and a chance to connect. It doesn't have to be complicated or complex. So let's start with the 5 rituals you can start this week. Number 1 is a daily check-in. Ask each family member one meaningful question at the same time every single day. You know that my favorite connection question happens to be, what was your favorite part of today? What was your least favorite part of today? I ask them always right before bed. It's an opportunity for my children and I to connect together and to share about our day and what we liked and what we didn't like. Sometimes we throw in other questions, but those are our 2 routine, consistent questions. There's something we do every single day, It's just part of what we do and it sets the mood right. We all go to bed, we're happy, we're thinking about each other, and we're thinking about our days. Here are some things you might want to try though. Let's say you have a toddler. You might say, what was your favorite color you saw today? Think about what toddlers know, what they're able to verbalize really well. Colors is one of the first things they start picking up on. Maybe what was your favorite toy you played with today and why? And and they might not be able to express the why. They just might say giraffe. Giraffe was their favorite toy. Oh, I love your giraffe toy too. That's one of my son's favorite. Lion is his favorite. Giraffe is like a close second, third if we integrate bear as well. But if you have an elementary age child, it might be something like, what's one thing you learned today? Simple routine. What moment this week made you laugh? Might be something you ask a tween who's really into that like hysterical funny moment, or something about their social group because tweens and teens are all about socialization. So pick a question you can repeat consistently every single day. And maybe you ask it right before bed. Maybe it's at family dinner. Maybe it's when you pick your child up and you're in the car riding home together. My children need calm down time in the car, like they've had their day. And if I ask them a question, I get zero response at that point. If I ask them a question, if I just wait till we're home, I get so much more. And so I choose not to ask the questions in the car. So just think about what your kid needs, when they talk the most, and then start asking one question at a specific time every day. Repeat that question over and over and over again. Children thrive in repetition and consistency. Then they start to realize you're always going to ask this, and then they're starting to think about it more and more. And if you're focusing on things like what made you laugh, what a positive thing for them to think about throughout their day. Also, here's a little tip for you as parents. Notice which questions spark longer conversations and which spark sweet, short moments. You can vary your question if you want. Just always ask consistently. I would suggest that you kind of keep one question pretty kind of consistent, but then you can vary in others, just like we do. I always ask favorite, least favorite, and then I might stick in there what made you proud today, or when were you kind to someone, just some other question to see kind of what I can get from my kids and what we might be able to share together. So let me give you a real life example. One evening, my 7-year-old shared a very tough moment at school. And my 3-year-old looked over to her and said something so sweet and so kind in response. So that little tiny check-in that we did at dinner, because we were doing a check-in at dinner, we also like to talk about things at dinner. It turned into this mini heart to heart where empathy was being shared. And it was such a powerful moment. Because remember, you as the parent don't have to do all of the action if there's a sibling. Siblings can start to interact too. And I have a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old, and my 3-year-old picks up on the conversation and the integration of all of these pieces and starts interacting as well. Okay, so that was number one. Number one was a daily check in, right? Number two is a family soundtrack. Now, this might be my family's favorite, and it's to pick a time, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and play a song together. We are a soundtrack dinner family. Oftentimes, music might be playing when it's dinner time. It's definitely playing after dinner. And we love to invite the kids in to think and pick on the music. Now, I'm not going to lie, my kids like music that makes them feel throughout their whole bodies, like lots of kids do. And so sometimes our music, we call it angry music. Like there might be angry music playing or loud music or something like that. Sometimes it's silly music. Sometimes it's just that they want The Floor is Lava played 3 times, and that's my limit. I'll play it 3 times for you. And after the third time, we have to pick something else. But you might want to invite everyone to share like why they love this song, dance to it, make up a silly routine. My kids love to dance after dinner. It's one of our most cherished things to do. What does that mean? Sometimes it means my daughter's making up this whole dance routine to the song just based on how she feels. Sometimes it means they want us to hold their hands and spin them around, but it's one of our favorite. So, some variations on this might be that kids pick the playlist, or you take turns on who gets to be the DJ, depending on the age of your kids. A twist, try creating your own lyrics or a silly dance, like a coordinated family silly dance. And if you do this, please post it on Instagram and make sure you tag me. I would love to see your family's dance. So, going into my whole story, one evening we turned on angry music, and my kids started a mosh pit in our living room. I don't know. They just love like bumping into each other with music that's like loud and, it just makes them feel in their bodies and then they're wanting to collide. And we all busted out in laughter. And suddenly, after dinner was a memory instead of the rush for bedtime, bath time, all of the things that happen after dinner that it usually can be. And it created such a positive, heartfelt moment between us all. I mean, we looked to create that over and over again because it was so powerful. Number 3 is what I alluded to at the beginning of the podcast, and that's to keep a gratitude jar. It's a jar you keep on your counter, and each day everyone drops in one note about something they're thankful for. Depending on the age of your kids, it might be a coloring, it might be a word, it might be you helping them write whatever they're thankful for. You can have slips of paper cut up, you can just do sticky notes, and then you stick it in the jar. You might have a kid who decides to write a joke or compliment somebody or the drawings, like I said. You could also switch it up a little for older kids and make it into so you have your gratitude jar and then you come together once a week as a family and you read them and you look through them. That is a way to connect, to like sit and reflect in the moment each single day because you're adding something every single day. You're pausing, reflecting. What do I want to add to this? What am I grateful for? What do I think is silly? Whatever. You add it every single day. And then at the end of the week, you come together and you all reflect on just this joy, the joyous times you had in the hustle and bustle of life because it can get chaotic. It can be overwhelming. And taking that moment to like sit, connect together, read through what you were grateful for is a powerful connecting moment. Okay, number 4, take a short walk. And walking is one of the biggest things I'm an advocate for. Getting outside in nature. As you know, if you've been watching my podcast or if you're out there anywhere looking at anything, nature is a powerhouse for us. It automatically refreshes and rejuvenates us. It like heals our nervous system. It brings us back and recenters us. So just taking a short walk or maybe doing a backyard scavenger hunt or going on a neighborhood exploration. The goal is intentional movement together. So let's say you're going on a scavenger hunt. It doesn't have to be where you have this template, you curate everything. It's like this big, grandiose adventure. It can be if that's what you want to do. I've seen people grab the Home Depot paint strips or Lowe's paint strips, any hardware paint strips, and then you go out and find things that match the paint strip colors. It could be like that. Or it can just be you deciding that you're going to go collect colors. And you go out there together and you're like, okay, find something red. And once everybody finds something that's red, find something green. You don't have to have something else to accompany it. You can just walk together and change it verbally. Textures are the same way. Or we're going to collect different leaves or insects. Look for insects. All of those things are things you can do together, and all you need is yourself and a little bit of brain power, just to be able to give those items as a scavenger hunt to your child. You could potentially go on a walk and make it a sensory trip instead. So, right now, our leaves are falling. I know some of you are deep in the heart of some snow. And so maybe it's notice the crunch of the leaves or the snow. The sound of snow crunching is like, I don't know, it just brings me back to childhood, right? Even there saying it just brought me right back. But it could be sensory. It could be feel the cool air. Let's go outside and like notice our senses. What do you touch? What do you feel? What do you see? What do you hear? And just asking everybody to go on that walk or go stand outside for 5 minutes and engage every single scent. And every person gets to comment on their five senses. Maybe not taste, because I don't think you should be tasting snow or so maybe the four senses. Um, you can also vary this by age. Toddlers can point and name things. You can just go on a walk and say, let's find all the things. And they can point and name things. Elementary students can collect items. My daughter has a box she loves to collect items with. And so sometimes we go walking and we use the box, we bring it with us so she can collect and add to it. They can make observations, and tweens can go journal. Give them a mini journal. Maybe you go out there and you like find something that you want to take a picture of. You take the picture and then you go home and you journal about it. There's so many twists and variations you can do on an outdoor adventure together. It's like the possibilities are limitless. And there's such a right moment for connection. One afternoon, we did a brown leaf scavenger hunt. That's getting easier now, but when we did it, our leaves in Southern California were not really dropping. We ended up laughing at a bunch of random things that the kids found. A tiny stick became a treasure. I told you we have a box where we collect treasures. A feather, well, that became a whole science lesson about feathers and why we don't touch them and then put our hands in our mouth. And these mini adventures, they create a shared memory super quick. And if you're like me and you ask your child, then what was your favorite thing from the day? I bet you they'll say that 5 minute mini adventure. My daughter always chooses the smallest little like connection moment. That's her favorite every single time. Every single time. We can go out and do something grand and she'll be like, "Oh, that was my favorite, but I also really loved." Like she puts the emphasis on the small connection moments, those micro moments. Okay, my last one is the story swap. Pick a daily or weekly slot to tell a story where you're going to make it up together. Again, you don't need anything for this except yourself, your kids' cells, and your brains. So you might start telling a story about your day's highlight. Maybe it turns into this made-up story or adventure. Um, it could be a story that continues on. My daughter and I have done that at bedtime sometimes. Instead of reading a book, we've selected to create a made-up story that will carry on for a few nights. So we both have to remember where we left off. And then the next night we start it again. And like this story, we take turns telling the story. Lots of times, I mean, the story elements aren't always perfect, but that doesn't matter. It's about the connection we have together. It could be a silly what if game that you guys play together as your story slot. No matter what, it's all about the moment together. And I want you, if you do that one, to think and notice about how your kid's imagination actually blooms when you're present without trying to guide or correct the story. We don't worry about story structure when we share turns like that. We just create this crazy story. Our craziest one was about unicorns, and they kept going in and out of these various different worlds and things kept happening. And I don't even think I could remember it all. It carried on for 5 nights. It was a pretty big story thing. She did never want to end it. So if you're thinking, I love these ideas, but I don't always have time to plan it or I'm physically exhausted. We have something launching this week on the 26th. It's our brand new Playbox, and I'm giving it to you just a tad early. I'm so excited on about this. It includes hands-on, screen-free activities designed to promote purposeful play, all ready to go. So I'm going to open it up for everybody who's watching, and inside you will notice you get 30 prompt cards that focus on imagination, creation, movement. You get various craft supplies. You get little toys that go along with the theme of the box because this box is available for a one-time purchase. Or you can get a quarterly subscription and we will swap out the theme every month. Or you can get an every other month subscription and we swap out the theme. It's obviously cheaper if you do every other month than if you do the one-time box, but it's totally up to you. It comes with organic, sensory, friendly sand alternative. My kids absolutely love this. It smells delicious and cleans up with just a microfiber towel. Like it's super simple. We play, I dump it back into the container, and whatever got someplace else, I just like clean it up with a microfiber towel. It's awesome. You also get another organic sensory base. So in this box, you get two organic sensory bases. You get the toys. You get the craft supplies. You get the 30 prompt cards. You get a story scene selection in case you want to incorporate that into what you're doing. And you get a parent caregiver card, which tells you kind of how to use the box. It helps you understand some reflection questions to ask that you might want to ask your child. And there are also some language prompts in there developed by a speech and language pathologist. So this is unlike any other sensory box, play box that you're going to find on the market. It really has thought everything out for you on how to help create some purposeful play. This kit with just the 30 prompts at least gives 10 hours of entertainment. Plus, you don't even have to use it with the prompts, right? They can free play as well. So there's so much in here. It's well worth the value. It's just so exciting. My kids love this box as well. They opened it up the first time and my daughter was like, "Oh, wow." It's just amazing. Our discounted promotion is going to end on December 1. So grab it while you can with the discount and get your kids engaged in activities that naturally create connection rituals in your home and purposeful play. Visit beyondthescreenfamilies.com/shop to grab yours before the promo ends. Okay, so here's the key. Consistency beats perfection. Remember, we're not looking for Pinterest perfect. We're not looking for perfect at all. Consistency beats perfection. Pick one ritual to start. One. That's it. Just one. Anchor it into an existing routine. After dinner, before bed, or even during card rides. It can be that simple. During car rides. If your kids are well with the like one question after school in the car ride, do it then. Do it then. You can connect in that car ride. Keep it short, fun, and optional. The goal is connection, not stress. We're not going to get stressed out about the fact that they give you one word. We go, okay, that wasn't the question for me, perhaps. Try it again. If it continues to be a one word response, you can be like, I need to switch my question up. Here's what I want you to think about. Which of these 5 rituals could you start tomorrow? Could you anchor it into a regular time, like breakfast or just before bed? Small intentional rituals build big connection over time. Your kids will start anticipating them, and you'll notice more calm, more laughter, and more meaningful conversations in just a few minutes a day. That's all it takes. So, I hope you give one of these a try. Thanks for spending this time with me today. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone who celebrates the United States Thanksgiving. Here's to creating more moments that stick. Bye, friends.